my name is Tiffany Hurd and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about traveling during a pandemic to Mexico. So a little bit of story time. I arrived at the airport at about 5:17. Yeah, that means I was in trouble. My luggage was supposed to be in by 5:15, y'all. So I get to the airport and I asked the guy like, hey, I know I'm a little bit late, but can I still get checked in? And he's like, well, run to the other side of the terminal to talk to someone. By the time I run across the terminal, it was like 5:21 and I was like, hey, I'm late. Is there anything that could be done? So he's checking on the thing, he's typing away, and he's quiet, and he's like, yeah, there's no way that you are getting on this plane. And so I wasn't really that sad, because I'm thinking, oh, okay, there must be another flight later. And so he's checking everything, checking all the system. This was a Monday. There was no flights out on Tuesday, no flights out on Wednesday, and I was just like, okay. So basically there was not another flight out till Monday. And I was just like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Are you sure there's no other flights out? And so he was like, well, what I could do is I could give you a trash bag. And I said, a trash bag? What am I gonna do with a trash bag? And he was like, well, if you could put some of your stuff in this trash bag, then you can make it on the plane. And I was like, no, I guess I'm just gonna have to miss the flight, unfortunately. So I'm here to say that there's always a debate about team carry-on or team check-in, and I would say if you are running late, you're better off being team carry-on, because had I had a carry-on baggage, I could have still made the flight. The good thing is that I wasn't super stressed to get to Mexico. I didn't have any plans. I hadn't even booked a room. I just had nothing in order, so I wasn't really tripping about it. But if you don't have the luxury, make sure that you are team carry-on, because that will allow you to get on the flight. So just know that if you're checking in something, you need to be at the airport at least an hour before. And if it's an international flight, I would say get there 2.5 hours, because you never know what's going to happen. So don't be like me, don't miss your flight. And because it's the middle of a pandemic, I would just get there a little bit earlier. And I want you to check out my hat. It says LAX. It's LAX hat. It's Los Angeles International Airport. That's what it's known for. So I hope you enjoy my story time. So I am walking in the airport. I realized I'm gonna get some footage so you guys can see that the airport looks pretty normal, except for the fact that it's not as busy as it normally is. But yeah, I'm walking to my terminal. I'm taking American. Oh, there's a plane, and we'll see if my seat is being social distance, which I don't think it is, because I asked the lady and she said that they have not been social distancing since July 2020. So there's the American counter. So I guess some things are still open. I heard that some of the stuff, food places were not open, but it looks like it is. So there's my gate. So this is the American flight. It's looking pretty empty back here, so I'm hoping that it stays this way. Here's my seat. Wish me luck. Hopefully nobody comes next to me. And I feel like it's pretty social distance, but I'm in the back, so we'll see. Stay tuned. Alright, sure. Just wipe down the seat. This is gonna be awkward video, but So due to the fact that DFW airport is really huge, sometimes you may have to take a shuttle train to the other side of the airport. So I landed in Terminal A. I had to go all the way to Terminal G. So this is what you see, the view from the shuttle. And once I landed, I was on to my next flight. At the DFW airport, I am eating Chick-fil-A. I'm a little bit annoyed because there is no seating area, so I found this random area to plug in. Remember to exchange money at the airport before you land. This space would not be available. So that you have money for like a taxi before you can. Scooby, you took my banana? He's like, no, I don't want your banana. After landing at the Cancun airport, you can take a taxi. He doesn't want the food, huh? You can rent a car. You can take the Adobus. I went for the Adobus, and I went. You can see the airport is pretty empty, and I am leaving from Cancun airport. Restaurants are closed here at the San Francisco airport, and I'm really annoyed because I'm really hungry and there's nothing open. Annoyed times 10. I want to talk about some safety tips while you are traveling during the pandemic. So definitely make sure that you have your mask, okay? I would say get several of them. If you are using like the medical ones, like those blue or yellow ones, you could just buy those anywhere and you can have them on hand, because those typically you can't keep wearing over and over. I also would say make sure you have your hand sanitizer. The good thing about American Airlines is that when we walked on the airplane, they had a bag filled with hand sanitizer, maybe a wipe, and maybe like a snack and a water bottle. So they are trying to do safety precautions on the airline by not doing cart service. Also, I would definitely say have your wipes. If you will see, you will notice during the video, I wipe down my seats, okay? I wipe down the tray tables, wipe down the seat belt buckle, and if you have a window seat, make sure you are wiping off that window over there. It's very important to wipe these things off, because if you look at any survey, any results, you will see that the airline or the airplanes, is one of the most dirtiest places, especially like them tray tables, because even when they're cleaning the plane, the cleaning crew coming in, they're not necessarily getting to those tray tables. They're just maybe trying to wipe off the seats or stuff like that. But remember, there's not a whole lot of time between these flights, so that lets you know that they're not cleaning as best as possible, okay? Also, make sure that you have your hand sanitizer. So basically, anytime you touch something, go ahead and use that hand sanitizer. It takes 2 seconds to use a hand sanitizer to wipe off your hands, because there's germs everywhere. And if you haven't noticed, it seems like the more that we can't touch stuff, you tend to touch your face. So I'm like, oh, my eye hurt. I got something in my eye. I gotta blow it out. I gotta wipe my nose. It seems like I'm touching my face more because I'm not supposed to be touching my face. So make sure you have that hand sanitizer. Also, a lot of people ask, how are the countries taking safety precautions? So in order to go to Mexico, you do not need a COVID testing, but I still recommend that you take one just so that you know that you're okay, because you wouldn't want to go to another country and be sick or get stuck in a country because you're sick with COVID-19 symptoms. So make sure you get a COVID testing, even though it's not required. And once you're in the country, I feel like Mexico was being very precautious. So you have to wear your mask everywhere. And in the plane, they're gonna say keep it on your nose. You know, it can't be below your below right here. You have to keep it on at all times unless you're eating, or like if you're drinking, then of course you can remove it. But when you're in Mexico, I feel like the establishments had masks on. They would take your temperature. They would even have you hand sanitize like your shoes. And depending on the particular place that you go in, they may have a different rules. So for example, in Playa del Carmen, I was at the Walmart and me and my friend were walking in, and we kind of knew about the policy of only one person per group or whatever. It was actually one person per family. So we walked up and the guy basically stopped us, and I was like, I looked around, I was like, we're the only black people around here. Did they stop us because we were black? But it wasn't true. America, unfortunately, makes us think everything is about race. But as he didn't allow me to go in and he allowed my friends to go in because there's only one person per group, I noticed that he was stopping everybody. So it wasn't a racial thing, but that's just one of the types of things that are happening as a safety precaution. I didn't really understand the rule, but it's not my place to understand the rule. That was Walmart's rule in Playa del Carmen. I will almost say that I probably feel safer in Mexico than I do in America. I am from California, and I think right now we may have some of the highest cases. So I was super okay with being in Mexico because I felt like they were taking the necessary precautions that they were supposed to be doing. So wherever you're deciding to travel to, I say make sure you check the CDC requirements, because some places are requiring that you have COVID testing before, or that you quarantine for a certain amount of days. A lot of people keep asking, why is everybody heading to Mexico? Is Tulum the new Miami? And I would say it's not the new Miami because it's not the turn-up spot. But let's be honest, a lot of people are going to Mexico because they don't have to take COVID testing, nor do they have to quarantine. So that is why everybody and their mama is going to Tulum, including myself. So there is no question of why people are going down there. That is the number one reason, okay? But yeah, I definitely highly recommend it. And like I said, I just want to do this video because I know a lot of people are like scared to fly or wondering what precautions the airlines are taking. American Airlines did not take the middle seat out. So flying from Los Angeles to Dallas, the flight was full. But when I flew from Dallas to Cancun, I actually had the whole row to myself. So I really just think it depends on the destination that you're going to. Coming back from Cancun to Mexico City, the flight was full. But then going from Mexico City to San Francisco, I believe I had a middle seat open after the guy moved behind me, which he had a whole row to himself in. And then from San Francisco to LAX, I had more room as well. So I really just think it's depending on the flight and how they're booking it. But just know, I feel like that you can fly safely as long as you take all the precautions. I'm not telling you whether to travel or not to travel. I think that's a personal decision. I would just say no travel shaming. If you want to travel, go for it. But if you don't want to travel, don't shame others for traveling as well. I think we're all adults and we get a chance to make our own particular decisions as it relates to traveling. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it makes you feel comfortable after seeing some of my tips and seeing what precautions that are being taken. So I would say have a safe flight if you decide to go. Do the COVID testing before you go and possibly do it when you come back, just so you know that all is well. If you can quarantine, I would say do so. I have a niece and my sister was like, nope, you're quarantining from the baby. You're on a 14-day quarantine. Well, she actually, maybe day 12, she needed me to babysit. So I guess I was off of quarantine. So convenient quarantine, sister. She'll watch this video. But yeah, and we wouldn't want to go somewhere, bring something back. Because we can be asymptomatic and different things like that. So yeah, so let's keep you safe and those around you. All right, I hope you enjoyed and I hope you found something useful out of this video.